Welcome back to Behind the Mic. In this episode, Cole Beaudin, a third-generation member and current treasurer of the CFA, discusses his journey in the concrete industry, the influence of his grandfather Buck Sweet, and the importance of family values in business. Continue listening to hear Cole's insights on legacy, leadership, and the future of the concrete industry. Here's your host, Jim Baty.
Hey, welcome back to Behind the Mic, CFA's podcast, and we are live again, CFA Con 25, Deadwood, South Dakota. It's the 50th anniversary of the CFA, and we are here right now talking to Cole Beaudin, and the reason for that is because Cole is third generation. His grandfather, one of the founding members of the association, Buck Sweet, a legacy. I still continue to hear stories of Buck Sweet. Cole, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Man, it's so good to get a chance to talk to you. I mean, you and I spend a lot of time together. You're a board member, you're treasurer of the board, obviously you're on the executive committee, but rarely do we get to talk about what's got you to this stage and the background. Tell me about your earliest memories of your grandfather.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I remember as a kid, summer breaks, ride around the truck with him, going to the different job sites, him showing me, you know, some of the things that they were doing. I can just remember him walking on top of the wall, showing the guys what to do. And
Yeah.
I mean, ever since then, it has always sparked my interest for concrete's always been in my blood, you know, ever since I was born. Yep.
Yeah, so I like to say, you know, concrete literally and figuratively gets in your blood because there is that medical side of it, but
Yeah, it ain't going anywhere.
It ain't going anywhere. But the figurative side, I mean, it's hard to shake it. I mean, there's an addiction to it because of the spirit of the industry, and so you learned that from your grandfather.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only my grandfather, you know, I learned a lot of it from my father and my mother. And what's really just got in my blood is just how my grandfather and my parents, they've treated their staff members, their coworkers, the customers that they deal with, the vendors, like family in so many ways. And when you get that value that's brought into your life, you just want to do the right thing in so many ways.
So I'm so glad you brought that up because we really haven't touched on that in the podcast for a while, a little bit, for quite a while. And it gets to family. And so much of what we talk about in this venue, this convention, when we have a chance to get companies together to network, is we talk about the family mindset and not just the generational family descending of the business, but the way that the employees are family and that you care so much. Your greatest capital is your employees. And that's really the culture of Permastructo.
Yeah, and I even see it in the CFA as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have great companies here like Russ Talpe,
Oh my gosh.
you know, and Jeff Toomas, who's now a new member. Him and I got into a great conversation today just about family in the organizations that he has. But just in our organization, you know, everyone's family to us. I mean, we do so much. Good Friday, we'll cook breakfast for them. We give them a ham. We participate in donations or 4-H. I mean, you name it, we're there for them. Because at the end of the day, we spend probably more time with them than we do with our own family. And that's important to treat them right.
It really is. I do game nights. There's all kinds of...
Oh, yeah. Bingo night is huge.
Yeah.
It is huge by us.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they get pretty rowdy, and it's competitive, but they love it. I love announcing it every time.
That's awesome.
It don't get much better than that.
What age can you remember your first... Okay, so you talked about riding around in the trucks and everything, watching your grandfather up on the wall. What age was it when you first started working for the business, either in an unofficial or an official capacity?
Yeah, unofficially, I would say probably 13, 12. You know, I was just sweeping the shop, right, or trying to help Mom out with, you know, paperwork.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and then, you know, 16, 17, maybe helping Dad with some miscellaneous flat work stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I can remember my whole life just always being a part of it, always asking Mom and Dad questions and trying to grow and learn from them.
You went away from the business then for a little while, got an accounting degree, and really kind of fed into the business acumen of what it means to come back into the business. And now you're running crews and beginning to look at taking over the business. How has that momentary diversion really benefited you as you think into your leadership of the future?
When I graduated high school, it was in 2008. I mean, the economy was wrecked, and I did want to go in the business, but mom and dad, they said, go find your way, and if you come back, then it does. And I am grateful for that opportunity. I went and did public accounting, taxes specifically. So it helps me on the financial side. But when I came back to the business, I had to learn everything in the field. So it was a different change at that time, but I wouldn't change it any other way.
Big transitions during that time, 2008 until you came back. What year was it you were back into the business?
2015.
2015. So, a lot of change in almost a decade, 7 years, and not just technology changing, but the way business is conducted, the way that you were asked to quote and to participate with your customers, your builders and everything. You had to learn not just what you had seen in high school, learning about what it might be to be in the concrete industry, but now from an entirely different perspective. That had to be a lot at once.
It was a lot at once, and so I started in January, and then that June, I was dating my current wife, Lindsay, and she joined the business at that time. And she helped me in so many ways, was my supportive member, person that I needed. And her and I grew together. I mean, she is just as knowledgeable as I am in a lot of concrete facts.
Really integral in our communication. So I talk with her about your business as much as I have a chance to talk with you, and your sister's involved in the company as well.
Yep, my sister joined. She joined a couple of years later. We're 6 years apart.
Okay.
So she was doing the college route, and she joined a couple of years later, and we're just all a well-oiled machine, right? Just getting the jobs done, and trying to stay communicative, and
which is so tough to do. And I'm sure that there's some listeners that are thinking, my gosh, there's no way that I want to be in business with my sibling. And I don't know that I want my wife or my spouse that close to me in business, but it is well-oiled. You guys you all have your roles, and you all have synchronicity, compatibility in the way that you approach things with your mindset.
Yeah, we all have a certain responsibility.
Okay.
And that's what makes a machine well-oiled, right?
Yeah.
You can't do everything all by yourself. It
Right.
just doesn't work that way.
Pretty competitive market, a lot of CFA members around you, but what I've always taken as I've come into the Milwaukee area where you guys are at, Racine, Wisconsin, your friendly colleagues as well. You're friendly competitors. You do roll up your sleeves and you get after it the way that you need to, but you're also pretty supportive of one another's businesses. What makes that market where you guys are at so much different than many of the markets that are so highly competitive and really animosity reigns?
Yeah, it is a competitive market. Some of your best allies are the people that you get to know, right? So just what I know, what Ken's doing in his market, or Mike from Coelho is doing in his market, or even Matt from Van Wicks, you kind of have to know what everyone else is doing to help judge what you're doing too.
Right.
But it's also great to feed off of them, like, hey, what are you seeing? What ideas do you have? Hey, I got a problem like this. What do you guys see?
Right.
So it's just a great opportunity to, get to work together in that aspect.
Keep your friends close, keep your competitors even closer.
That's right. Keep your competitors closer.
That's right. So 2015, back in the business. Now you're on this, you're on a straight line to ownership. Heard you talking today, really vulnerable things that you were talking about. Just the struggle of being a young professional in a business and thinking through. It's not an easy transition to go from generation to generation in business ownership. That third generation gets even tougher. Where are you meeting? Well, where are you getting advice? What is feeding into you to help support you, to give you the confidence to take this next step?
I would say with members of the CFA, I have a great supporting cast that I can lean on. I've leaned on like Jeff Oriski a lot, because he's going through similar situation that I am. I have friends back home that are in professional accounting or lawyers, or just where they can help me with advice. But the thing that I always have to remember is that there's a big emotional side to this transition. And it's not just numbers at the end of the day. So it's livelihoods that we're dealing with. And that's what I would say to everyone else that might be going with a similar transition like I'm dealing with. There's an emotional side, and sometimes you just got to look that way.
Yeah, I think it's really important and very intuitive for you to realize that and to bring that to the conversation. You have a wealth of experience in the association, generational businesses that are, I was talking earlier today with Dave Martinson. That's a fourth generation company, and just what that means to go from great grandfather to father, and now sons. And at the end of the day, you're right. There are livelihoods at stake, and that goes in both directions, that somehow you have to find your way through the emotion of it all to realize those retiring have to be set up for retirement, and those enduring and taking it forward can't be leveraged to be unsuccessful. So it's a very delicate balance. Things going well? You guys feeling good at this point in time?
Yeah, I think it's a slow process.
Yeah. Patience, right?
Patience. You got to have a lot of patience into it, and it'll all work out. At the end of the day, it's the cash cow. Yeah. And a lot of people would say the same. So without that, a lot of us don't have the same benefits in life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would imagine trust and belief are also two words that I would attach to that, probably, that you really have to believe in each other, and you have to trust that everybody's in it for each other's good, which in a healthy family situation where you're such a well-oiled machine, no doubt that's the way it's transpiring. Let's talk a little bit about just the challenges of business. I would say if I had to handpick 5 people from the association right now that I believe are leaning into their future in business and really maximizing the influence of the association on their path, you would be right there. You might be top 3. Shoot, you might be even the top 1. What's the biggest challenge, other than this generational transition to business ownership? What's the biggest challenge that you're facing in business today as Permastructo?
I would say one of the big challenges that we have, which is kind of tied with the generational, is we're losing some that generation that has built that business with mom and dad. They're getting ready for retirement, and we've lost a few of them to retirement, and so now it's who's the next staff or members that I'm going to lean on to. Hey, let's grow this thing to the next level that I know that we're capable of. I mean, we have a good foundation that was set from 2 generations before us. So that's probably one of the big challenges. We have some great staff members that I lean on a lot of things, but they're young too, just like I am young as well.
Yeah.
So I would say that's probably one of the big challenges is just the youth, but they're eager to learn, and a lot of growth potential in that.
And so that really kind of takes us into a topic of workforce development too, because that's part of that transition. You've got a lot of experience, a lot of reliability that's transitioning out. You've got to replace that with a lot of trust, a lot of training, a lot of development. You've been one of the most vocal companies that we've seen, social media wise, but just also effort at tomorrow's workforce, about getting into high schools, getting into middle schools, giving them exposure and experience, letting them see what construction's all about, and kind of fostering that idea of passion that you felt when you were a 13, 14-year-old crawling around and sweeping the shop and listening to the guys come back from jobs. What's driven you into the school to be the source for workforce development?
I would say about 6 years ago, I was responsible for hiring, maybe 5 years ago, call it like that. Mm-hmm. And just the type of individuals that you would have coming through the door. I've never held a handheld before. I don't even know what a saw is. I don't even know what an impact is. And things, how do you hold a hammer?
Yeah.
So it's that type of education that these kids aren't seeing today in high school and even in middle school, where we need to bring them. So our company is very active in Build My Future, which is in the Racine-Kenosha area. I mean, we touch probably 2,500 students each year when we do this.
Yeah. Big numbers.
Big numbers. I mean, we have probably 25 different companies, not just us, not just in concrete, but in We Energies, a roofing company, electrical, plumbing.
Yep.
And we're giving them the opportunity to say, hey, is this something that's interesting to you? Because let's face it, as more individuals keep retiring, the baby boomers, the Gen X, we're losing a lot of workforce in the trades, and that's what is lacking.
Right. And the trades are a lucrative place to build a career and a retirement, and that's something that gets lost in translation over the last several decades as we've been so focused on college education, and you've got to leverage that to get to be successful. You're proving it in a different way. 6 years ago, you kind of started on this path. Have you been able to hire anybody that's come through any of that work that you've seen the benefit of it?
Yeah, so, Build My Future's been a couple years, but before that, we've been very active in different high school programs in our area, Franklin, Oak Creek, Shoreland, just to name a few. And I've hired kids right as soon as they turned 18. Hey, I want to come do what you do. And I still have them with our organization today. But
awesome.
But even if they don't continue from, when I do demos with them or I have them pour walls with us or set forms, they're still taking that information that they learned and moving it on. Hey, I'm going to take this and apply it because I want to be a carpenter one day.
Yeah.
Or I want to be a plumber. Now I know what, a drainage system is in your basement.
Yeah. So I'm a visual person, and I say that off on this podcast, is that as somebody I'm interviewing, is talking, there's this vision that pops up in my head. And I'm recalling conversations that I've had with your grandfather's generation, your dad's generation, heck, my generation, and maybe one up. If you wanna test a potential worker, a potential construction worker, give them a shovel and see what they do with it. That's the mindset. Is like, can they use the shovel in the right way? Do they know how to sharpen that shovel? Do they know how to clean that shovel? Do they know how to step on it correctly and throw dirt? Which I've always been intrigued by that. But in your work with the high schools, there's a sense that you're teaching them to fish. You're not just expecting them to know. You're assuming they don't know, and they shouldn't just try to prove themselves incapable.
Absolutely.
They should prove their hunger, their interest, their energy, and it sounds like to me that's what you're uncovering with this work.
Yeah, it's not like the old mentality like sink or swim, right? Here's a shovel, just do it. Yeah. No, you got to take a little bit of time, but just taking that extra effort means more to them than the old mentality. And that's why we thrive so well. I've got a great group of guys they're so eager. They look forward to days where, hey, we're going to work with this high school class.
Yep.
Take some time, and they enjoy it. They enjoy teaching them, like, hey, we're setting a form like this, or, we're building the footing. We need to make it this wide for this reason, and they get so engaged. And that's what we need the youth to see.
Right. We engage them that way. I've been to your place. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Look forward to taking the CFA, in some capacity there again one of these days soon.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great time. You guys invest in your company in many ways. I mean, it's evident when you walk on the property, you see your investment in the building, you see your investment in the equipment, you see your investment in, when you're talking about your investment in the employees. What's another area that is fresh in your mind or important to you in terms of investing that may not be perceived by just looking at you?
I would say indirectly, we invest a lot in our community.
Mm-hmm.
We have initiatives as we're celebrating our 60th year. We're trying to give back a little bit more to the community this year than we have before. Veterans outreach, Wolfgang Rescue, different women abuse centers. We're without the community that we have grown our business in. We wouldn't be around what it is today. So we're just making the effort to give back and show everyone thank you for everyone's support.
That's awesome. And then the other thing I know about you is that you're investing heavily in the education of your workforce. So not just the future workforce, trying to attract them, but once they're on board with you, it's not just
going great guns at the schedules that you throw at them, you're investing in their futures. You're raising up the important real estate that's the 6 inches between ears.
Yes.
Big into certification, big into safety training and education courses on a regular basis. I've been able to come up several times and help you out. What's the importance of education and certification for your workers, where your workforce and their confidence?
Well, it gives them a sense of winning.
Yeah.
Right? And like I said, we have a lot of individuals that have retired. So now we have a younger workforce that's eager, that they want to learn. But it also gives them be relatable or reliable when an inspector comes up and they're ready to do that rebar inspection or that footing inspection. You know, I try to make sure all my foremen are ACI certified.
Yeah.
When that inspector comes up and he's talking to that foreman who's younger, right away the inspector is going to be like, man, this guy's not even 30. He ain't going to know anything. Well,
right.
No, I'm ACI certified, and that means a lot to that inspector.
Yeah.
We're one of the few certified companies as well. So, we invest heavily in education through World of Concrete, through the CFA, because knowledge is power.
And it makes a difference to your customers when they see that effort.
Yeah, it makes a difference knowing that, hey, we're a certified company for a reason, and you can trust the quality and the service that we're going to bring you guys.
Yeah. So my last question for you. You're here at CFA Con 25, Deadwood, South Dakota. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary. The tendency in today's generation to look at events like this is, why would I waste my time and my energy for a business vacation that's taking them away from my schedule, from my employees? I got to trust other people to do it. Tell me a little bit about your perspective of the importance of being at conferences like this and the network that you're tapping into.
Projects will come and go, right? I mean, we'll always have some reason to not want to come, or, some family event that we need to do, or some project that's more important. But at the same time, the growth of you as a leader or the growth of you as an individual matters a lot. And it shows with a top-down leadership, right? If I come back from these CFA events engaged, coming up with fresh ideas to make my culture even that much better at Permastructo, and being able to bring that down to all the way from my supervisors down to my other coworkers that I have, my other wall dogs, I call them.
That's
right?
That's
the wall dogs. It just revives a whole nother energy in our company.
And so that's full circle. We started talking about your grandfather and the launching of the CFA with him as part of, I believe the number was 16 founding members.
Yeah.
You've brought it full circle. I mean, you're actively engaged in perpetuating what it means for an industry to pull together in a networking group to present to contractors a way to stay off the island by themselves and to really find a better way together. I applaud you for it. It's a great legacy nod to what Buck got started for you guys and for us. I'm really, really proud that you're here and participating.
Jim, and we're very appreciative for everything that you have done for our association, and we couldn't be more thankful for everything that you have done for us. You and Ed, and we've made it 50 years. I can't wait to see what the next 50 years is going to be like.
All right, so now you've opened up my crystal ball.
Oh.
What's the next 50 years look like? What are you thinking?
To be a total of 100.
Quick and easy accounting math.
There you go. No, I see I see education or AI being a big impact into our association. Just from outside looking in.
You think your business too? You think AI is going to influence your business?
I even see it now. AI is affecting, with ChatGPT and just minimal things that you see. But I foresee it being even bigger coming through.
That's fantastic. Well, he's Cole Beaudin, well on his way to full third generation leadership of a great company, Permastructo, Sturtevant, Wisconsin. Also an executive committee member and future president of the CFA. And so I'm thankful for your time. It's great to be with you. It's great to see you around here. It's great to hear your leadership. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
So that's it for this podcast. We are, again, live. You heard it just a little bit in the background, CFA Con 25, Deadwood, South Dakota. We're going to continue celebrating our 50th anniversary. And come back and check out more of my podcasts as we'll keep building them here. You can get them all on our YouTube channel. Have a good afternoon.
Behind the Mic is brought to you by the Concrete Foundations Association. You can learn more about us and about becoming one of our #CFA Concrete Pros by visiting our website, cfaconcretepros.org. If you're a concrete professional interested in being part of a future podcast, reach out to us by email to info@cfaconcretepros.org to start a conversation. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Behind the Mic.